Hello and welcome to. I've fucking just googled it as well to figure out where we were, and I've also sworn within 4 seconds. Is that a new record? But yes, season
Hi.
4, episode 5 of the Power Platform podcast with me, Mark Christie, and
Malin Magnus. Hello.
so that's we do apologise. We know we're like 10, no, in fact 20 days late on a podcast, probably 25 by the time I've edited this, but we are a little bit late. I'm going to blame Malin for it just because I can.
Well, I'm not doing the editing, so.
So who have we got on the podcast today?
So after last podcast episode we had, we were talking about tits. And we were saying how we absolutely needed to get the story about the shared tits with his brother. So we kind of I jumped on WhatsApp and told Scott that, hey, we just talked about your tits. You now need to be on a podcast to tell us all about it. So we have Scott Durow with us. Welcome.
Well, hello. Thank you. Hello, Malin. Hello, Mark. Good to be here. I love that the first person that comes to mind when you talk about tits is me. I'm going to take that.
Yeah.
I mean, at least that wasn't the pre-chat conversation we had about the hair, so we'll leave that one there.
Yeah, there's some things I'm never going to be able to unsee, so yeah, we'll move on.
Yes. Now, obviously, this is a podcast, very audio and not visual, but Scott does still have his green hair from, what is that? Is that going on 3 years now you've been dyeing the hair green?
That was the first color cloud I did it for charity. Yeah. So, and actually during the keynote of I can't believe I'm going to actually say this on air, but the keynote for color cloud, the last one, I did say that as long as color cloud is going, then I'll have green hair. So Matt said
we have a record as well. So that's good.
Yeah. I didn't plan to say that. It's like one of those things that, when you start, your brain is saying, stop talking now. Stop talk. What are you saying? You've ever had that?
Oh, yes. Every day.
Yeah. And I get that when I'm doing keynotes. So it's it's always fun and games.
Yeah, it's not the sort of thing, especially when you say that to like an event organizer, because that just fuels them to keep going, even if it's just to spite you slightly. Because I know for a fact I'd be doing that. Scott's going to keep us. I'd be running like a 2-person user group with the same name until I'm 60, just so that you can dye your hair that color.
Well, but it's good though. I mean, I've been it comes in very handy. People say it. I was at Ignite, and the people on the booth were saying, "Oh, I can't answer that question. But if you go and see Scott, he's got green hair. You can ask him that question." And I was the only one with green hair at Ignite, so everyone knew that it was me that they needed to ask me the question.
I think you're pretty much the only guy with green hair anywhere you go.
Well, it's funny because, like, when you buy a new car, right? And then suddenly, you kind of start to notice that everyone's like, oh, wow, everyone's buying the same car as me. No one used to. So it's the same thing with having green hair. So I'm like, wow, I didn't realize there were that many people with green hair. So I noticed that, and we have a moment. Actually, it was at Scottish Summit last year. And I was just walking along the high street after the social, and someone with green hair, and we had a moment. It was sort of like, and so that's what happens when you see someone, your eyes meet. There's an instant recognition, and usually what it is, within the first few seconds, there is a recognition of either we're going to have that moment silently, or we're going to actually vocalize and sort of have a moment together. And it's very quick. Very quick, you decide, and it's just you walk on. You go, yeah, we had a moment, but we've walked on. Or it's like, let's take selfies together. Let's like swap stories. Let's become best friends. Follow each other on Instagram. So those kind of things.
So your Instagram is now full of green-haired people.
The algorithm.
Do you have a moment where it's like, is that somebody else with green hair, or is that my reflection?
Well, God, that happened when it first did it. I mean, that first color cloud for the next few months, I'd be walking past mirrors, and go, what the fuck? Who is that? It's like, that's not me. Or someone would say, "Oh, I like your hair," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, oh right, this, yeah."
No, what color did I go? I went I done the hair and the beard blue.
Oh,
you were Papa Smurf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like genuinely, I would walk past and see myself in the mirror and like put my fists up ready to fight somebody that was in the bathroom. I'm like, nope, that's me, okay. And then I'm walking down the street thinking, why? Like, I know I'm a big guy and I've got my tattoos and my beard. Why does everyone keep staring at me? And I'm like, yeah, it's the blue hair, isn't it? That kind of is doing that, I suppose.
Well, it looked good on you, I have to say. It really did. It suited you.
I actually quite enjoyed it, but it's a lot of upkeep.
Yeah.
That was my biggest part. It was too much upkeep.
I have so much respect for people who, like, I hadn't realized how much it actually is required. So people who dye their hair, so who are maybe they're not naturally blonde or whatever. The amount that it takes to keep it up and also is costly. It's like, you really have to commit to it. So yeah, I have new respect for people who dye their hair. It's definitely a commitment.
Any specific brand you want to plug of hair dye?
Well, my hairdresser Bex, she is pretty awesome. She her salon's called Fade and Dye, as in dye, as in death, and it's a skull, and she's just the best, the most awesome person. So, and also she enters competitions. She's like a international competing for coloring hair. So yeah, she goes to award ceremonies in Vegas and stuff. She is like ultra cool. So yeah, I have no idea what brand she used, but Fade and Dye, Roberts Creek.
Yeah, so go to a professional hairdresser and get it done. Don't do it yourself.
I don't know.
Well, I did it for you, so I'm not professional at all, but
no, that's true.
Pretty much.
I mean, the one thing I've just thought about, it does look very Joker-esque. I've never thought of you dressed up as a Joker with it yet.
Well, in Vegas we were at PPCC we were there for Halloween, and I kind of went, okay, right, well, this is kind of the ultimate opportunity here. So, but in the end, I was like, well, okay, it's going to require too much purchasing of all sorts of other stuff. So, yeah, but I made a thing of it, so it was good. It was good, and I generally think people thought that I dyed my hair especially for Halloween.
There is that as well.
But because I did have green hair when the tits in question were that's yeah. So I went from green to pink. Actually, it was sort of pink, blondie, pink hair.
Yeah.
I don't know
do you still have the wig?
I do have the wig. Yeah. As you Malin, as you quite rightly say, my brother has my tits, and that's not a phrase that you ever really use in conversation. So
no.
So do we want to put a little bit of context around this? There's not. In fact, I'm going to say. I mean, it's bad when it's me that says nope. I'm not going to say that one. You know that there's something there, but yeah. So Scottish Summit 20. What are we now? So 24. We ran a drag event for charity. We got some awesome community members to dress up in drag. We raised £10,000 for charity.
At least, I think.
Yep. And Scott was obviously one of the awesome people that done that and actually won the whole thing.
Yeah, not just one of the people. He was the best drag queen as well.
It was a real honor, and at the drag queen that you had to do the judging, she was just amazing. She was just the best, so encouraging and so supportive, and just so much fun as well. And didn't she looked amazing though? She was like,
the thing that just blows my mind is like you look at the difference in shape. Not just like obviously the face and the hair looks totally different, but when you see Chris and then when you see Lady Rampant, you couldn't tell. Like you can't tell.
No.
I'm like, my mind is blown.
Yeah.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Chris also said that he was so impressed by everyone because he was kind of like, okay, it's tech people working for Microsoft and stuff. How serious are they going to take this? And was kind of like skeptical before we started. But he said he was just blown away but how professional everyone was and how serious everyone took it. Like he was like, Jesus, these people do not mess around. They want to win this stuff. With like both you and especially you and Mutz had put a lot of tits into it, but also practicing with the shoes, practicing walking, and did you not have a dance prepared as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It was lots of fun. I learned to walk in high heels, and I hope that skill is going to do me very well for the rest of my life. Actually, I hope that it's going to be something that I will be able to reuse.
Do you think it's a transferable skill?
I'm yet to find the niche that it transfers into, but I think what it's doing is it's meaning that I'm just looking for opportunities now. I think that's what it turned into. But it's, Chris was great because he came into the dressing room and everything beforehand, and he went round to us all and he was just sort of, checking that we were okay and asking us, do you know what's going on? Do you have any questions? And they were just so, everyone was just such a good vibe. And although there was that kind of like, we want to win and everything, it didn't really have that kind of competitive spirit, and everyone was just sort of interacting with each other, and but we all pretty much went into character. I mean, I found that because I used to do a lot of like musical theater and acting and stuff. So it's like it's a kind of the thing where you just, and I wasn't quite prepared for how much actually.
None of us were, Scott. None of us were.
To the point where I went to do a video recording at the end of it and said, Scott, can you come here? And he refused to until I called him his actual drag name. Jesus Christ.
Well, she's a diva, so that was the thing. And that's,
proper drag queen. So if you ever want to book Scott to do a keynote for an event in drag.
Now there's a fucking thought.
Don't put that in people's
Right, so
are you listening?
No, not even Colour Cloud. We've been pondering an event on a cruise ship.
Oh wow!
So we literally got back this morning from a cruise from Oslo to Germany and back, and they have a conference centre there that has 10 rooms and has a theatre for 400 people, and I'm like, this could work.
Which also mixes very well with our previous idea of an event for Eurovision.
Yep.
That
mixing those two together, Eurovision on a boat with Scott and drag doing the keynote.
These are all the things that, I mean, this is speaking my language. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like my brain craves novelty. This is something that I have really come to understand about my mind. And so when you string all those things together, it's like, I think, you can pretty much get me to do anything if you do that. If you talk like that.
I just need somebody to say, no, you can't do that. And I'll be like, boom, right, okay, we're doing it.
That's you know what that's called. That's called geek sniping. So I unbeknownst to me, for a large part of my life, I've been geek sniped by people. Usually my managers or product managers or people in the community would just say, "Hey Scott, I don't think this is possible. I don't think you can do this." And of course, my brain's like, ding! Wait a minute. Let me just try this out because I think that. And then days will pass, weeks will pass, maybe months, and then I'll usually. But that's geek sniping. It's a very effective technique to get people to do. So just mental note to myself, Mark, if I need to get you to do something. So just be careful.
Just genuinely, just tell me. Yeah, you can't do it. It can't be done. It's like a red rag to a bull. I will do it, and I will do it 10 times better than you thought I could do it as well. But
it's a power, right? So it's that having that knowledge is power. So it's not like I would abuse it, Mark. I'm not gonna use this as a it's like my Pokemon skill to get you to, unless it's actually meaningful and I really think it's value. So yeah, I'll store that away.
Yeah, so Mark, I don't believe you can paint the downstairs hallway next week.
I don't believe that one either. I'm good with that.
Fuck.
But you see right there, that is the interesting thing, is because there is a interesting overlap between geek sniping and also being told what to do. That is the real art to geek sniping. You can't make it sound like you are trying to get somebody. You can't be manipulating. It has to be just pure, no manipulation, no other hidden agenda. It has to be a pure geek snipe. Like, no, I don't think you can do that.
Yeah.
Or no, I think that's impossible.
Yeah, which also fares very well, or not well, for if you're neurospicy.
Yes.
No, I mean,
you can't do this. I was going to, but I'm not now.
Exactly. Yeah.
But no, it does also work the other way, because it's then "fuck you, I will do it" is the way that
I'll do it anyway.
Also work. Yeah.
I mean, and that's the challenge, isn't it? Is that all of these things are that kind of neurospiciness stuff, which, to be honest, throughout probably the vast majority of my life, I managed it. I kind of adapted to all of these things going on in my mind, and quite often would like self-shame myself. So if I had a reaction to something and somebody had said that, like, oh, I need you to go and do this by tomorrow, or like, so one of the trigger words I found was like close of business, COB. If someone says COB to me, that creates such a physical reaction in me. It's not sort of just like a mild irritation. It's like my whole body just it goes into fight or flight. I'm like my mind is like filled with cortisol. I am physically rejecting that notion now. So I have created so many adaptations to be able to allow myself to just fucking do it by the end of the day and stop. Because I used to tell myself, you're overreacting. It was my father's voice. You're just being hypersensitive. You're overreacting. Why are you being so? All these kind of things. And so these adaptations that I created, but they cost energy, right? Because it's like every time that happens, it's like an energy bill that you've got to pay back at some point.
Yeah, it's like the draining of the battery.
Yeah, exactly. So being kind to yourself, and so actually sometimes, just allowing yourself to, when it's safe, to react.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's lots of different things that set people off. Like, you got any other tics or triggers, like beeps or messages?
Do I have? I have so many triggers. I have so many buttons. Yeah, and again, the adaptation and the behaviors that overlay on that is the things that kind of mean that people don't know about them. But the people that kind of get to know me quite quickly about all these triggers and buttons, like, because you asked me to turn off my my team so we didn't get that kind of beep in the background beforehand, and I have to. I have to rotate the audio sound my phone and Teams makes, because again, it creates this kind of physical reaction in me where I was like, oh, someone needs me. Something's gone wrong. Something's gone wrong. Something's terrible's happened. I've done something wrong. I need to fix it. Something's, needs to be done by the close of business. COP. So that triggers me. So I have to rotate those sounds. And it's funny because I have a washing machine, and it's funny how sounds kind of trigger you. It's like the washing machine that has a buzzer on it. So it's like when it's finished, it buzzes. And it sounds like the buzzer of my the flat I had when I first left university. And I'm just like almost right there back. If someone's at the door, what's going to happen? What do they want? They're trying to sell me something, or are they trying to, just make me pay something? And then, so it's amazing how these kind of sounds. Also, the dryer has like when the motor is going, when it spins up, it sounds like the tube on the London Underground.
Okay.
I'm right back there waiting for the London Underground to go on my 2-hour commute into London every day, and it's amazing.
No, our one speaks to us when it's finished.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've got one
AI
of
powered.
Samsung smart ones, but only one of them does it. No, they both do it, but we can't switch the volume off on one of them. It's just annoying.
And it has this long ass tune first, and then it says in like kind of semi English Norwegian speaking, the washing machine are ferdig. So it's like a mix between. It's not English, it's not Norwegian. It's a mix between both, and it sounds weird. But now my son goes like, "Washing machine is fertig."
So basically, it's my Norwegian is what it speaks.
Pretty much. Just
it'd be fun. You should if you could reprogram it or something. You should reprogram the washing machine to say, "Hey Siri, start the microwave," or if you've got everything. My phone is just kicked off. My phone's going, "Yes, I'm here. What do you want?" You could just have this cascade race condition where all your devices in your house just start every other device.
Yeah, I mean, and the worst thing is we probably could. Like when the washing machine is done, then flicker the lights or turn the TV off or something.
So, my friend is about to buy a house. And he's been staying some nights in the house that we've got in Scotland. And him and his kids are like, all your automation's great. Because we've got Google throughout the house. So you talk to it. We've got light sensors. You walk in a room, the lights go on. And I'm thinking, could we actually do that? Because he wants us to go in and set it up for him. So, yeah, race conditions where something finishes and then something else goes on. And it just cycles for 16 hours around his house. And he's not going to be able to sleep. Oh, I can see it already. We've got
that's mean. That's
one of the
mean.
automations we've got. So we've got a Google camera outside with facial recognition. So it says, I've renamed it now, but it used to say bald spot. The camera used to look down and he had a big bald spot that he was trying to hide. So we called him bald spot on the camera. So bald spot is at the door and he hates clowns. So he walks into the house and we've got a Samsung smart frame. I don't know if you've seen that. It's like a picture frame. So it just looks like a photo frame. So you walk in, the lights go red and it says, "Who's there?" And a clown comes up on the picture of the screen.
Is it like one of the? It's like an "It's scary" clown kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's stuff of nightmares right there. Definitely. Yeah. There's some kind of sort of PTSD that's probably going to get from that. Expect.
Oh no, so there is. I'll tell you the story. We went primary 1, so age 5, for a school trip. We got taken to the local theatre, and there were clowns on stage. It was fine, but we were sitting up. There was 2 levels, and there's a walkway in the middle. And then all of a sudden, these clowns came behind us and started squeaking the bicycle horns behind us, and we cried so much that the teachers actually had to take us out of the show and call our mums to come and pick us up.
So there we go, Malin. All you need to do is change Mark's phone to have the kind of a clown on it when it gets a call, and then yeah.
Oh no, I'm okay. I've got over it.
You've got over it.
I've got over it. I'll watch it and Derry and stuff like that. I don't mind that. He is still literally petrified. His mum, you know where I'm going with this one, don't you? So his mum, there was one night he was staying. So he stayed in a village outside the town where they were he was very remote, and his mum came back one night from being out on the drink and basically started scratching the back of the windows, just loud enough so that he could hear him. And then he got up and looked, and she had a mask on and popped up. That, I think, is where the full-blown trauma came into it.
Like a clown mask?
Yeah. But he was about 14 or 15 at the time. I mean, it's, yeah. So,
well, can happen to anyone at any day, any part of their life. That's, that's scary. They can be scary. Definitely. Clowns are, they're not the best place. But I mean, I think that the thing about with trauma like that, it's situational. It kind of takes you back, doesn't it? That's the problem. You got and then your body. It's the same thing with Teams. It's the same thing. It's like it might as well just be seeing a clown or a Teams message going, bling.
I mean,
creates a physical reaction.
Yeah, the amount of projects I'm on working with clowns right now, it's pretty much the same thing. I shouldn't say that out loud, should I?
No. Well, it depends on how many people that you're working with are going to be listening to this podcast, to be honest.
Please don't listen to this episode, customer 1, 2, and 3.
And anyway, if you are listening and you're working with Mark's not talking about you. It's somebody else.
The people who are not listening to this podcast are the clowns.
Exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 projects at the moment. So whatever project you are, it's the other one that I talk about. We'll go with that, right? Just in case you both listen. There we go. No, it's what it is. So what I want to do is kind of go back and talk about how you got into IT in the first place. So yes, obviously this is IT people on an IT podcast, but we kind of want to know how people got into IT. What was their stories? What is
I love hearing people's stories about that, because what's amazing about IT, and I think this is something that I've really come to appreciate only recently, actually, is that the diversity of people that come into IT is because now IT is so accessible. It's like you can, especially in the Power Platform space, right, where people can just start building stuff, and the barrier to entry is quite low, and then they can sort of just go down the rabbit hole, and suddenly, they're some architect, because they've become like hyper focused and they've educated themselves and they've fixated. But back when I got into IT, it was a sort of much more, I guess, traditional route that you had to get into. So the kind of people that were in IT were much more like the people that would be labeled in school as like, oh yes, you're a bit of a geek. Yeah, you should probably be doing IT kind of stuff. But I think now what I love about it is that we can kind of this everyone, every walk of life, every kind of person, every type of interest, every type of background gets into IT. But I was, because I was so neurodivergent in school, but there wasn't any labels that were available. There was no tick boxes that you could check back then. It wasn't even a thing that people even really knew about. And because of the specific flavor of my neurodivergency, it meant that I had these kind of conflicting traits. So one minute I'd be incredibly social and outgoing, and I would be on stage or playing in bands or socializing at parties, and but then on the next thing I would be kind of hyper focusing with my computer in my bedroom. So it was this really weird interaction between those two that actually got me interested in doing IT as a profession, because it wasn't like this academic exercise. I sort of saw, how can I make what I'm doing in like getting really interested in how I was programming in assembly language, and then obviously the BBC Micro, we were talking about this at Mark earlier in the UK. BBC Micro was like the real kind of the vehicle. So many people got into IT in the UK, and so so much shared history of a certain age. So I just got so many computers. My dad was very much into computing as well, so he used to buy computers from the States, like Texas Instruments, and we had like a Commodore, and we had a Spectrum and an Archimedes, and we just had loads of the computers around. So it wasn't like I was fixating on one thing. It was like, how can I use all these different things to kind of have an effect on my other part of my life? So I used to program games, because I enjoyed that, because I could like hyper focus and like lock myself away for like, well, maybe weeks, maybe months at a time, build these games and then come out. And then I could kind of go and give them to people and let them play them, and then play them with them and like socialize with them and see their reaction, and then kind of learn like, oh, okay, right. So this particular thing that I've built in this game is like really hyper addictive. People like it, but this is like really annoying people. So don't do that again. So I think it was that thing that sparked my interest, was like how people react to things that you build, not just the building for building's sake. It was like, if I do this, what does that impact have on people's lives? But I went off to study physics at university, medical physics, actually. I wanted to be a musician, but my kind of dad told me that probably wasn't a very good, because I wasn't good enough. And so it kind of, became an academic route that I went down. And but the reason I study medical physics is exactly that. It's like, it's physics, right, which is all the theory, which I could kind of go down the, scroll down the rabbit holes, but also I'm mixing metaphors, the squirrel and the rabbit. So squirrels don't live in holes. Well, not to my knowledge, anyway. Sorry, I've done it again. What was I saying? Yeah. So, but the medical side of physics meant that I got to spend loads of time in the hospital. And so I was in the medical physics department, and I got to interact with like patients and like other people in the wards, and like other doctors and nurses, and like hang out in the doctors and I mean, it was nothing to do with the nurses' dorm that was on part of the university campus, anything like that. Nothing to do with that.
So squirrels do live in holes in the ground, believe it or not. So your metaphor was actually, yes.
Right. Okay. So we can now talk about squirrel holes, which is like a subgenre of rabbit hole. So, in the neurodivergency analogies.
Yeah. Squirrels will dig deep, complex networks of tunnels that can stretch anywhere between 5 to 30 meters long and can sit up to 4.5 feet below the surface.
Wow. Who knew? Goodness.
Yeah.
I can just imagine a squirrel being like really, really like so focused on building that and kind of getting angry as well, because that's what I like about squirrels, is they're really diligent, right? They go off and they hide their nuts and kind of get angry at people as they walk by and stuff. But they're really interesting creatures. I think I was going to say my spirit animal might be a squirrel, but I don't think it is. I think my spirit animal is a capybara. Not because that is who I am. I don't think I naturally. So, like, I like to think about the way that we are in 3 levels. So we've got like our traits, our kind of wiring, our brain wiring, and then we've got like the masking and the behavior, the adaptations that we've had to do in order to make our wiring fit into the world. And then we've got like behaviors, which are more intentional things that we do because we understand our wiring and our adaptations. And so I am not, my wiring is not capybara. Capybaras are the most chilled out creatures in the world. And so Marcel and Microsoft, I talked to him about, because he comes from Brazil, and they just hang out at the side of the road. So he was just like driving along and they're just chilling, don't care.
I was at a zoo in Buenos Aires, and like all the animals are in enclosures everywhere, apart from capybaras. They're just everywhere, and like you can feed them and you can pet them, and they're just chill. They're just laying all over, and they're super animals.
Yeah, exactly. I think when they evolved, I don't think there was any predators. I think that's the way why they're so chilled out. I mean, they have predators now, but their wiring is chilled out. So it's like they're like, well, if I get eaten, okay, I'm just gonna chill though, So it's a behavior, right? So like there was a reason that I was talking about those 3 things, those 3 levels. So like my spirit animal as a behavior, as an intentional thing that I want to do is be more capybara.
Yep.
I genuinely just had to Google one.
I've talked to you so many times about it and showed you pictures of.
Now I want to know what context you were talking about capybaras, Malin, to Mark. Mark wasn't listening.
No, I mean,
there's even a game with like capybaras, and you can be. what is it? You're a hamster riding a capybara. There's a lot of good games.
Okay. So, Scott, tell us about some good games that you were developing.
But before that, have you seen there are some people who have created games that are made to like annoy the fuck out of you? Like if there's an obstacle, you jump over and then the obstacle moves and pushes you into the lava, and it's just the most frustrating and annoying type of games ever.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of person does that to themselves. Yeah, I mean, it frustrates the hell out of me just watching them. I mean, I've seen them like on site, and I look at it, I'm like, I can't watch this anymore. It's it's just stressing me out watching it, other than playing it. But
fun.
I have actually, Scott, just figured out what the green hair reminds me of, and it takes me back to childhood. Just that we're talking about games.
Now we're
scared.
Which Lemmings.
Yes, Lemmings. Yes, I definitely. Lemmings has a special place in my heart. Yep. It really. Lemmings are. The Lemmings, the game. I mean, Lemmings, the rodent. Is that well? You call them a rodent? I don't know. They don't have green hair at all, but the Lemmings in the game, they were cool. They were really cool.
Lemmings, oh no, more Lemmings, oh no, there's Christmas Lemmings. So, like, I had Amiga when I was younger, and Lemmings was my game.
Yeah.
To the point where I think it was my dad and my uncle, they converted an attic into like a half bedroom and an attic on the other side. But they literally went into an office and got the Lemmings, like the front cover of the Lemmings game, printed. And then they put it on the wall, they stenciled it, and they painted it. So I actually had a wall that was like a whole Lemmings scene or scenario, like with about 20 different Lemmings, one coming down with the umbrella, 4 of them building stairs up. Like, genuinely, my biggest regret or biggest disappointment is there are no pictures of this anywhere. Either I was getting fed fucking hallucinogenics when I was younger and I was seeing lemons crawling up my wall, or I did have a painted lemming wall.
Or there were actually lemons in the walls.
Yeah, and, although Mark, it may explain a lot, if you were being fed hallucinogenic stuff when you were a child. That may.
I mean, I still, when I talk about like what you can do with power apps, I still pretty often put up your video of the Lemmings and power apps that you build. Like, it's still okay. So it's okay. It's not a business case, but this is the crazy shit you actually can do if you just know what you're doing and you have super skills.
I geek sniped myself. That's what I did. I was like, I bet you can't build Lemmings in power apps. And then I was like, well, I mean, I've tried to do it in pretty much every language I've learned. I've tried to build Lemmings. That was the first thing I did actually when I got access to which model was it? I guess it was probably Codex, the earlier Codex. I said, right, okay, can you build Lemmings? Like, let's see how good you are. To me, that's the ultimate test. Forget about like enterprise security and but this is, can you do? Because the thing is, the one thing that I do miss is the hyper focus that you have to go into to optimize stuff. Because like back then when you're building games, you had to like so optimize everything to the inch of its life because you had very little memory, very little CPU cycles. And so to make something playable, you really had to optimize it. So I always used to kind of get the backstory on games. So like, how do they build it? And then whenever I got the games, I would then decompile them and work out how they've been built. Maybe make cheats as well and stuff like that. But it was fascinating to see the kind of lengths that you have to go to kind of get the performance. But these days, we've got so much performance. But incidentally, it couldn't. The model I used couldn't do Lemmings. It was appalling.
So Lemmings was actually built 20 miles from where I'm from.
Oh, really?
DMA Design is Dundee. DMA Design were actually from Dundee. I actually think the D in it probably is something Dundee. But DMA Design obviously went on to be Rockstar North, and they made Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
It's the same
right. Yeah,
same group of
it's a
people.
lineage, right?
Yeah.
It makes
So
sense.
if you like Lemmings, you like GTA. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
Lemmings, Speedball 2.
Yeah.
There was a weird game. So like Sleepwalker was another one that I loved. I don't know if you ever played that. You were a sleepwalker and you were a dog, and you had to open the doors for the sleepwalker to walk through. And if he woke up, then you had to start the level again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. All right. Okay.
there was a really weird one, and it was. Can you remember the Quavers adverts that used to have a big pit bull in a yellow suit? So there was actually a
not
game.
AI generated.
No, there was actually a game for the Amiga that came out called Pushover.
Okay, and I don't remember that. Yeah.
So Pushover, and it was basically the guy from the Quavers advert, and you had to build up dominoes, and you had to then, like, some of the dominoes would split in half and go the opposite direction. Some would blow holes in the floor and knock the ones underneath it. But yeah, it was the big bully guy from Quavers who would push the dominoes over.
Yeah, that sounds good. It's that genre of game, and I think that's what I liked about Lemmings, is that it taught you to handle stress, right? It taught you to handle lots of things going on at one time, but the stress was sort of in your control to a degree. It was like, it wasn't like you immediately open the game and suddenly you're bombarded with those stuff trying to kill you, because I don't know if you ever played Overcooked. If you ever played Overcooked, so it's like it's a game on, I think it's on lots of platforms, Xbox and Switch, and it's basically, the idea is, and there's Overcooked 2 now. You're in a kitchen, right? So you're trying to serve stuff, but just to make it more complicated, then they put you in different places, like, where you're on a boat and stuff's moving around, and everyone's got their own in-text jobs, and you can drop stuff and burn stuff, and it's so stressful. It is so stressful. So that kind of game pushes it a little bit too far for me. But Lemmings just seemed to have just the right amount of stress and just the right amount of kind of calmness and sort of, mindfulness.
So how do you go from developing games and not ending up as a game developer, but working with Power Platform?
Well, yeah. So, I would have loved to be a game developer, but yeah, I think it was really down to the fact that it was just, looking back then, it was just like, well, where are the jobs? Where am I actually going to get a job? And so I mean, and a lot of it's luck, I think, to a certain degree. I got a job as in laser research. That was my first job. So I spent a lot of time in Japan and Europe and the States, and installing, kind of like doing industrial control stuff for laser control systems. And it was like a lot of life and death. So I was doing embedded control, like where there was huge pieces of machinery running, moving around really fast, like, could literally kill someone if you got something wrong. So it was a lot of testing. It was very, very important, fail safe. So I was using like a lot of lasers, and it was pretty cool. And but yeah, that was the vocational thing, right? That was the actual with people, and so it was the application of software, and that was what really kind of got me interested in the stuff. Is that it's like, okay, how do I use these skills I have to kind of do more and more, and then eventually I moved into sort of just more the business side of that, like the ERP for throughput, waste, finances of the the control systems, and then I just found that because I'd had to do life and death stuff, so I was just really good at the software, and everyone was like, wow, your software is like, really, there's so few bugs. And I'm like, yeah, well, and because like, it's like,
Don't want to kill anyone.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah. And that was the first time where I realized that actually there was this choice that you make with modern software. It's like, it's like, how good is good enough? Because the industrial control stuff really fitted my brain, because I'm a sort of perfectionist, and I like the kind of the detail and all that kind of stuff. So, and I like rigor and process, and so that was really, really good for that. But it was lots of really interesting new stuff. So I was designing new laser guidance things for focusing and all this sort of stuff. And but yeah, then I was like, oh wait, so you get a choice that you can just ship software with bugs in it? Like what? Which is a real eye opener, actually. Yeah.
So you wanted to ship software with bugs, so that's what got you into the Power Platform.
I
You
think
heard it here, kids.
there is, yes. Oh dear, yeah. Well, my youngest son is he keeps on at me saying, "Well, when are you going to go down and talk to the Minecraft people and make them fix these bugs?" Because he's Microsoft own Minecraft, and he thinks that I can single-handedly make them fix bugs. But that trade-off, that engineering, what is good enough, and knowing how to test stuff as well. I think that was also really got me into the business thing, because back then really people just didn't have any good ideas of really how to properly test software. It was a very much emerging, so test-driven development was an emerging concept. There was model-driven development as well, which I was kind of really into. So how do we create specs that are easily testable against? So it's not just like, And so I created techniques, like I would put bugs specifically, I would write bugs into my software. So, and then I'll be like, I know that there are bugs in the software. So if the test team were going to test it, it's like, I know you have not tested the software because you have not found the bugs that I put in it.
It's a good. I mean, that's probably what everyone should be doing. And if they come at a later point saying, well, this isn't working, well, you haven't tested it because you haven't found my bug, so you haven't tested the stuff yet.
Right.
I mean, that would have gotten some clowns off Mark's back, I think.
Oh, definitely. Do you think, though, your hyper-focusedness made you test your code a lot more before you shipped it? Or was it a fear of getting it wrong and somebody calling you out for not doing it good enough?
Or killing you?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's probably both of those things are at play there, to different extents in different phases of software development. So certainly I think the hyper-focus is really good in terms of when the early stages of like prototyping or researching, trying to find the best way of doing something, doing a lot of architectural synthesis, like creating something and seeing how it works without actually committing to building it that way. So that was really the hyper focus. But then, like you say, well, that kind of fear of the rejection. So rejection sensitivity dysphoria is like one of the things I do have. I have suffered with, and again, I have coping mechanisms, I have adaptations, and I have behaviors, right, which I have created in order to deal with all of that. But yeah, I think you're right that when you do have a fear of rejection, you want to do your best. You want to test to the, and of course that can become a problem. And I think that's the thing that I was talking about. Is like when I was like, wait, you have a choice, and it's knowing how good is good enough. It's like the MVP, the actually, it's like, well, we haven't got the budget to test, so therefore a certain degree of bugs is actually is going to happen. It's an acceptable and okay thing. And I certainly, when I was lead developer and leading software departments, did that a lot. I would really make that the ethos. I'd be like, it is okay to have bugs, because I'd much rather us fail fast, fail often, kind of get stuff. But obviously we need to make sure that the process and the rigor is such that if there is a bug that's found, it's not going to be blamed on anybody. It's not going to be, it's your fault that this bug was there. It's going to be like, okay, well, how critical is this bug? Can we change the process so next time we don't, let that kind of go through to production? What's the impact of that? Focus on the areas that is the 80-20 rule, right? You focus 80% of your effort on 20%, of the place, because that's the 20% is the thing that's really going to make a difference. Like, someone's going to, like in this case of my laser stuff, someone's going to get hit by a 2-ton piece of granite.
Freaking laser. Yeah. I mean, Dr. Evil would have employed you.
No sharks involved either. Just like lasers. Yes.
Damn it.
Yeah.
So you've gone from the lasers and the freaking sharks. At what point did you hit, I was going to say dynamics development? I mean, we're not even at dynamics development at that. We're what, 1.2 CRM? Is that your first switch over into the Microsoft
Yeah.
sphere?
Well, I mean, I was in the .com boom. Because I left the industry stuff to kind of do finance and procurement software. So it was sort of the early days of software as a service, and the .com boom was like, there was just everything.
Money.
It's just,
Here
it was
comes the
crazy.
money.
Yeah, exactly. Just it was an insane time. So much party, so much money going around, so many startups. So I was in there. I was doing involved with a lot of those startups. And I mean, I to a certain extent, I kind of compared it in the past to the AI bubble, but I really think it's fundamentally different. I mean, I having gone through the .com boom and bust, the bubble bursting, and living that, there are so many things that are different now to the AI bubble. People call it about the bubble. I actually don't think it is a bubble in the same sense as it was back then. But I was building things with Microsoft technology, right? So I was using .NET. Well, there wasn't even .NET before that. It was DCOM and IIS and all those kind of things in the DNA architecture, they used to call it. And then all these new things, all these servers started coming on. So like Microsoft Office SharePoint server, and there was content management server and commerce server, BizTalk server kind of came online. So all of these server products. And so it kind of got me into that higher level abstraction away from like that, just building everything. I mean, there'd been the 4GL movement. So people building stuff in Oracle, SQL Windows, and Centura, all these different things that came on, like Fox Pro. But then it was like, and then this new product came out, like CRM, and it was like contact center before that in Outlook. But it had the thing that it had in it is the ability to kind of define your metadata, so create entities and create forms, and it was like having built all that stuff over and over and over again for for years. I was like, this is good. This is something that I can see the value in that. And then really, that was the first kind of in the way of like sort of that low code movement, really, like metadata driven, making it easy to build stuff, easy to configure stuff. But in still having a performant application that you could roll out to thousands of people, sort of thing. And I think that kind of really hooked me, and didn't look back from there. As we went through the different things, and we kind of obviously got more and more mature, and then it became Power Platform, and so it's always been my ethos is like, how can we make it easier to build things in business without getting without to build stuff that then you have to test. And it comes back to that testing thing, because like every line of code you build, you're going to have to. My metric used to be for every 10 lines of code, there's going to be one bug. And I mean, obviously, mileage may vary and depending on the different things you're using. But and in software, it was always about like, how do we build get libraries in, like install a library to try and make it easier to repeatable. But you're still with the library, you still got dependencies. You've still got got to test it with your own code. Where the thing about Power Platform is that it's like it's managed by Microsoft. They give you a guarantee. It's like, okay, you can, if you use this, we're going to manage this. If there's bugs, we'll sort those things out for you. You don't need to worry about them. And I think that's really what brings us today with being so exciting with AI, because that ethos doesn't change with AI. You want to give AI something that is going to be able to, it doesn't have to build it from the ground up, because it's going to make mistakes just like people do. And then so you want to have a platform, a managed platform that AI can build in.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two parts to the AI for me. There's what you can do with the AI tools, and then there's businesses making decisions from AI. And I think those are two totally different things. Because if you're using, like, yes, the technology for building agents or for building extensions on the Power Platform is great, but at the moment, I don't think businesses' data is fully ready for making critical business decisions based on data that's in systems right now. I still think we're slightly away from that. We've got the tools and the technology to make it perfect, to give them the exact answers they want, But until their data and their guardrails are in the right place, we're still a couple of years away from that, I think.
Yes, there's definitely some growing up and maturing to do. But
I always tell my customers that there's no problem in putting AI on top of your shitty data structure and your lousy quality on data. It's just going to cost you a ton more. So if you want to not overpay for AI, you got to get your data structured and you got to get control over your data. And that makes using AI cheaper for you. So, whatever you do, pour on data and put a lot of money in it. But if your data structure is horrible and your underlying data quality is horrendous, then it's going to be expensive, cost you a lot.
Yeah, especially with all the cost of the whole kind of credits going up and up, and being metered access and everything. But so your friend Mark, hopefully his automated house is not AI powered. He's paying the bill, because if you create like a loop that is cascades, his AI bill is going to be through the roof. So it's true, and I think the whole notion that AI is going to make mistakes, I think, is important, because we make mistakes. It does amplify that possibility of making mistakes when you have AI add stuff. But I always think that it's like, if you would let somebody who's got no understanding of something go free on something, would you just let somebody who's just really, inexperienced in using your ERP system, would you just go and let them start to go and make changes in it, edit records and move stuff around in your financial accounts? Not probably, unless you've got the checks and measures in there to make sure that their security role is controlled, that they're not going to be able to kind of just simply delete the chart of accounts or something like that. So I think it really is the same kind of mentality. I think that's what's quite nice about the way in which Microsoft are thinking about AI agents now, is much more about like, how do we homogenize the way that we deal with AI agents with the way we deal with people. That's where the Agent 365, you've got like an agent ID, and you've got, the stale ability to put them in different groups and have access to desktops, which has got controlled by the same edge controls that we have when we're using desktops. So
yeah, shout out to that clown customer again, who also managed to let somebody into their live production system and delete finance records, GL codes, and chart of accounts. As yes.
Well, so now what you've just done is you've given enough context for that person to know that you're talking about them.
That person, that one individual person, they can listen to this podcast many times as they want. They have been publicly shamed on more than one occasion. It's like the shame throwing the bell thing.
Strung up in the village with a
100%. So how does one then move on from finding dynamics and you've made some tools that have helped a ton of people, like the Ribbon Workbench, and I don't know how many tools you have and how many lives you've almost saved with making things workable in the Microsoft world. Now you go from like fixing Microsoft's lackings,
gaps,
to working for Microsoft. So, are
you
fixing from the inside now?
Well, I think that's I think one more person's not going to make a difference massively to that. But it's nice to be on the other side and see things, and also see how things are built, and see the decision making process, and also see the engineering activities. Because having been professionally and being lead dev and architect for so long, then to see that in a corporate environment such big as Microsoft, seeing it on such a scale it's fascinating. It really is. And seeing how all the different things, what works, what doesn't work so well, how people organize themselves, how people are then, organized in more of a hierarchy, all these different things. It is really fascinating. And I think the thing that's very unique about Microsoft is is the fact that they are so corporate, but yet they also are able to change quickly. And those two things quite often don't go hand in hand very often. But I building tools and stuff was really just down to, again, it was my sort of, I guess, hobby in the sense. It's like I just like to play around with stuff, and if I saw a need, it was like that was again that kind of like, how can I build something that fulfills a need, that has purpose. I was always looking for purpose rather than just building something for building's sake. It's like you could just go out and build some sort of random, I don't know, robot that's just cool, but actually I wanted to solve a problem that then could help other people, and that's always been my driving force for doing what I do, because I get that, I get a kick out of helping other people, but also get a kick out of listening to their feedback and like, oh, that's interesting, which of course is contrary to the whole rejection thing, because then it's like, and this is the duality that I've lived with it for so long. It's almost like there's two things pushing and pulling me in different directions all the time. It's like, oh, build this tool, roll it out to like tens of hundreds of thousands of people. Oh, but don't do that, because then they're going to report bugs. And if you report bugs, you're going to be feel terrible about the fact that you've caused this person to lose loads of time. And it's going to be, you're going to be really, really down on yourself. So it's like, managing that sometimes be difficult.
So do you feel now that, and I'll try to figure out how to word this, that you're off the tools? Because no, I'm meaning this in, I'm not meaning that in a disrespectful way at all, but you're now in an advocate role. Yeah. You're not, I don't know what you're doing all day, every day, but I would presume that in an advocate role, you are not spending 8 hours a day building things, coding things, in the weeds of things. You're talking about the product. It's do you feel that you're slightly more hands off now?
I guess hands off in the sense of, obviously I'm not shipping software to the same extent as I did. I still do little bits of open source things here and there, and I certainly not doing things for customers in the same way as I did for it. But I get to spend a lot of time with customers, which I really do value. So I do work on reviews and work with people and do workshops and in organizations and look at how they've implemented stuff and do best practices are. But what I really quite like is the fact that I get to do is I get to use the stuff before it's actually out there in preview, and then I get to build stuff. And then previously, before I was in Microsoft, what I would do is I would then build some kind of open source tool to fix that issue, right? Because I didn't have any ability to influence it. You could report it, but sometimes you need things to be fixed a lot quicker. So I built a tool to actually work around that issue or make it easier to manage or whatever it was. Whereas now what I do is I do all this building and I do all of these kind of build these apps and build solutions, and then I report back and I say, like, okay, this works, this one doesn't work, this is what people are going to say, because I've had so much experience in industry and in doing stuff. I try to use real world things rather than the typical demo where hypothetical scenario that's never going to be, that doesn't include, oh yeah, we're not going to have security, we're just for the demo's sake, we're just going to turn off security.
Or we're going to build an app for feeding cats while you're on holiday.
Yeah, exactly. It's like these things are, feeding cats while on holiday is an important, don't get me wrong, very, very important. That's an important, otherwise your cat will starve. So listeners, do feed your cat when you're on holiday. Probably the easiest is to get a neighbor to do it rather than building an app in Power Platform. So, but yeah, it's like, okay, well, what's the real use of this? Now, building games is a case in point. So the reason I used to build games is to try and push the limits. And I still do silly things like that. So I'm still pushing the limits in the sense of like, because my brain craves that kind of diversity and that sort of like, novelty and like fun stuff. But it's also like, oh yeah, but how is this actually going to work when someone's got, Azure services that's got, like VLANs, and there's various different, security policies that people have to, if they've got different people with different roles, there's no one person. How's a developer going to get working on this on their Mac without being, connected to something? So those are the things that I really enjoy doing now, and then I can feed that back, and then hopefully, ultimately, make the product better over time.
So that you don't have to make the tools to get around this system; you just fix it from the inside. So
That's the idea.
So, but your role itself has changed, because if you, I'm going to go RuPaul on you here. If you were to tell 5-year-old Scott that his day-to-day would be standing up on stage, speaking to people, and being confident on stage and being authoritative on the technology stacks, is that something you ever think you'd have been able to do back then?
I don't know at 5, actually. Certainly 5-year-old Scott would not would probably have not been able to pay attention till the end of that sentence. So, but certainly I think when
10-year-old Scott.
Yeah, it was certainly when I was like, starting to kind of, when you start to form ideas about what you might be and what your life is going to look like. And I actually found a letter I wrote to my future self when I was probably 8 or 9. I was just going through when moving out, so just went through and found it, and it was like, oh, dear future Scott, or whatever it was. And it was like, and it's like, you are, I think it was like, you are living in a house, and you have your own architect company, and you work from the loft, and you're doing all these designs and all this stuff, and then you're doing this and this. And so it was interesting to hear what my brain thought back then. It was still very creative, right? Because I think architecture is both a creative and also have to have a lot of discipline, a lot of rigor. But the public speak, sorry,
and still building stuff.
Yes, building stuff, yeah. But certainly, I don't think I ever really saw myself as a public speaker back then. But I did love performing. I mean, that's the thing. And that's this push pull in my brain. It's like on one hand, someone will say, "Oh, can you come and do this, keynote for 3,000 people?" And that part of my brain was like, "Yeah, hell yeah! Like, fuck it, I'm going to do that." That is right up my street. I love doing that. The energy gives me. Same way as someone used to say, like, "Oh, can you come and play this role in some production of musical or something?" I'd do, yeah. But then there's the other part of my brain going, "What the fuck are you saying? Like, stop now! Stop! Just shut your mouth, because you know what's going to happen. You're going to start stressing out of this. You're going to become like, you just spend so much time on it. It's going to let everything else you'll suffer." And so there's always this push pull. But I think that the speaking and the community stuff that I've done has been so rewarding that although my wiring may be like that, certainly the behaviors that I've chosen to do community things because I find it so rewarding. I've chosen to participate in user groups. I've chosen to kind of mentor and encourage other people, because it's just, it just is. It is definitely something that ultimately does give me energy and does fill my battery. And that's why I kind of continue to do it, even though my wiring, sometimes has a bit of a, minor.
So if you were to write a letter back to that Scott that wrote you a letter to future Scott, what would you tell him?
Wow, this is getting deep, Mark. This is, I mean, I hadn't realized that this was going to be a therapy session. I mean, it's like,
we've not even started.
I mean, they do say the best kind of therapy is doing the therapy in public, right? But yeah, if I was going to write a letter back to myself, I think it would be telling that young Scott about all the things that I've learned about my weapons grade neurodiversity, educating him on the things that are happening around me, and the way that makes me feel, and the way that I feel as though I need to act or the way I'm being told I should act. I educate him on all of the ways, all those things, how they interact, and ultimately tell him that it's not because you're wrong or broken or you're not enough or too much, or just try and educate him on not creating an internalized story that I started to tell myself. And that, because that story can become quite damaging, over time, when you tell yourself that you're wrong and you need to fix, and you're not good enough, and you just got to keep trying harder to change who you are to fit in,
and building crutches for stuff, and
yeah, exactly. Over time, it creates layers and layers of things that can be very hard to work through later on. But that's not to say that I would probably make it very clear that I'm not saying that adaptations are wrong, because I would never say to somebody, "Oh, you just be yourself. Always be yourself." Because Mark, like, if I told you just be yourself in all situations, what would happen?
Oh, I'd be banned from most countries. Me being myself. I mean, I try to be as authentic as I can, but I know that there are certain times and places for things. Like, I mean, believe it or not, with customers, I am actually quite professional. Well,
believe it or not, yeah.
Well,
letters on a postcard. Do you?
No, I mean,
depends on the customer though, and how well he knows the customers. Because I've heard some of his calls, and there has been, well, yeah.
What was the one last week or the week before?
That's just wrong. Let's jump on another call, and I'll tell you how you actually fix this. Something along those lines.
Someone's got to say it.
And I think there was also a swear word in there, how to fucking do it properly, I think was the exact words. But again, it's knowing the scenario, knowing, like, I kind of always go back to my being a football coach. You know the right times to play the right card. You know somebody needs a hug. You know somebody needs a boot up the arse. You know somebody just needs the truth. It's just knowing when and how to deliver that.
And then also, some things you do out of love for others. Like if you hate boats and you go on a 2-day boat trip to another country, that's also something that if someone had been their authentic self, they would have say, "Fuck you, I'm not doing that." But because of love, someone joins in on that trip anyway, and then
fucking hate boats.
Wait, I was about to say, which way around was it? Who is it that this is like not a hypothetical situation? Who hates boats? I was going to go with Mark. The way that this is not, you can't see Mark's face, but I could just see the hatred flooding his whole body. That's like anything nautical.
It's not a hatred for it. I genuinely feel uneasy on them. It makes me feel like I can't drive a boat. I can swim. I can't swim that far.
It's a control freak in him losing control, being paranoid over not having control.
Yeah. So if you were piloting the boat yourself, it'd be okay. So if you were like,
because he's tried that as well.
No, because it does. It like the water and the bumps make me feel sick. I do genuinely feel like, look out the window. I'm like, no, thank you, because everything's moving in directions. Like the ground should stay still and shouldn't move. When you're in a boat, the ground is going up and down like that. That's not a thing. That's not real life. That's just no.
I think the technical term is land lover. That's what you are.
Yes.
You're a land lover.
Planes are okay, and flying is not a problem at all.
Because I've done that from a younger age. I've not turned like 40 and then all of a sudden here's a fucking boat, let's go on it. I've been on planes a lot. I mean, I used to hate flying as well. I genuinely used to hate flying, but I'm not looking out the window.
Saying is we just need to be on more boats and it'll be fine. Good. That's what Lesson learned.
Now it's a therapy. Now it's group therapy. Now it's relational therapy. We need to do this more often, right? So like, can we just just do this, and we can just talk about ourselves, talk about our feelings, those kind of things.
Boats and snakes. Don't ever put a snake on a boat either, or I'd be jumping off at that point. That's the two things that would get me going.
Wasn't there a film called Snakes on Planes as well?
Yes.
Wasn't it? Yeah. It's like
motherfucking snakes on this
I don't have any problem with snakes on planes. It's sharks is the thing that gets me. That is my only thing. And I blame Jaws. Like my daughter laughs at me because I won't watch Jaws, the movie, like the original. Like I mean I just can't. I can't watch it. I've had so many nightmares from that freaking film when I was younger that, so she'll try. It's like Rickrolling me, basically. It's like she just tries to get me somehow to watch like clips of Jaws. Like she's trying to that's what she's trying to desensitize me, but it's not. It's just creating more trauma, to be honest. So.
I now got a very intrusive thought here for when you're doing the keynote on the color line ferry. We're gonna come in. You're in drag. We're gonna come in shark costumes. Because then with holding a snake, then I fuck both of you up. So yeah, I'm this is gonna be great.
I think the singing of Baby Shark probably would do it more than just seeing both of you dressed up as the sharks. I think my body is pretty good at identifying threats, and it's like, I'd probably be. It would be endearing. I'd like to see you both dressed up as sharks. Definitely, yeah.
That could be arranged. I genuinely think we could do something along that lines.
But I'm not doing any keynotes dressed up as Pussy Galore.
No.
Well, you've already said yes. This is a done deal, Scott.
Wait, what? Rewind. We have this on record.
That was the first thing we said. You're okay with doing a keynote in drag on a boat.
I'm bleeding, I'm rewriting my memory of it now. So yeah, it's like, well, when I did my hair, when you got your hair done for Color Cloud, Mark, did Matt take a picture of you shaking hands with him? Because when I agreed, he just said, right, like, I have to take a photograph because I don't believe you're serious about this. And so he would send me back whenever I was like, yeah, I'm not sure about this green hair thing. And he'd be like, I have the photograph. Could be AI.
Whilst for the drag show we asked, and you were, yes, I'm in. Period.
Yeah, why is that? There's a whole kind of therapy thing that we should kind of go into there. Why was I so keen?
I don't think I got a handshake. I mean, so being brutally honest with that, I think somebody had pulled out, and I jokingly said, yeah, if you can get to 10K, I will not just dye my hair, but I'll also do my beard.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers. Yeah.
Because you were like, they're never going to get to 10K. You should have been. You could have, like, because I reckon people were really gunning for you. So, so I think people would have probably gone above and beyond. Next time, set the bar higher.
Yeah, it's Donna who's the one that takes the flak for this one, because I know that she put extra money in.
I was like, what was it, like 2 days left? And you're like, that's never happening. And then I think they put it in the chat or something. And Donna was like, no problem.
There's a reason that she does call herself chief of mischief in Microsoft. So it's, matches.
Yeah. Even to the point where we left for Hamburg and the money hadn't been made at that point. And we had landed and the money was there. I'm like, yeah. Was not a good day.
It was fun. It was for charity. It was all good. It was good fun.
It was indeed.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the next thing that's going to happen. So maybe I'll have there's a special kind of geek sniping specifically for drag. Maybe that's where I have susceptibility to it.
I mean, stupid enough to say I've never done a keynote in drag, and you need to practice your shoe walk. I mean, it's a done deal. It's
Yeah.
yeah. I just
Yeah.
need to stop and yeah.
But I think that though is a very the whole the that notion that you're good enough, you're okay, it's the you don't need to prove yourself to people is a very internal thing. And I think one of the I don't know if you found the same, Mark, but when you color your hair and you stand out, it does teach you that no one really gives a fuck what you look like, actually. And very few people even comment on even because they're so focused on themselves. So everyone is so hyper focused on like, well, what do I look like? What does my hair look okay? Does my is this clothes like? Are these sparkly boots? Going with my sparkly dress, which was a concern of mine.
Yeah, I think some people are like, yeah, that's very cool. What I did find was a lot of people would come up and tell me about the time that they done it. Like your hair's cool, but
yeah. That's it just goes to show you everyone's like kind of inward looking. Right, because you, Malin, you did your hair at the end. It would look really cool. Actually, it was like red on the ends.
Yeah, purple at the end.
Purple
But
end,
I mean, nobody noticed because my hair is so long. It's on like the middle of my back. It's like right over my ass, and like no one was looking at that specific area anyway. So it's
I'm sure. I'm sure they were looking at your ass.
My ass, not the hair, not the hair. No one saw the hair. So yeah, it was just too long for anyone to notice I had other colors, and at one point I just gave up. So now it's back to my normal color.
Yeah,
too late. It's a lot of work.
It really did look good, and then the same on you as well, Mark. But that kind of notion that you have to fit in and is very much like a problem. I think that's what we do. That's the reason we go so far with the masking and so far with the self-editing is that we feel as though we need to fit into some mold that's being defined by someone else, and although that in itself is not a problem. If it is an intentional behavior, it is something that you're choosing to do because you think this is of value. It matches your kind of integrity or whatever it is. That's fine. But if you're doing it because it is something that you're you're shaming yourself when you're saying, I'm not good enough, I need to change, I'm not, if they really know who I am, then they discover who I really am, then they're going to hate me, all of those kind of narratives. And it's interesting because like we often in the community, and it was South Coast Summit actually, there was a speaker workshop. It was really, really, really great speaker workshop. And it was a new speaker workshop encouraging people. And I was speaking, and one of the questions was, it's like, we're being told to be authentic in ourselves, but on the other hand, you talk to a lot of the professionals about in interview technique or life coaches, how to succeed in work and all this kind of stuff, and they're actually saying the opposite. You've got to do this, you've got to have this particular way of dressing or this acting this particular way in this circumstance. And I think that the challenge is that although that's given as good advice as the intentions are good, right? I think when you have a predisposition to shame yourself and to think yourself is wrong, then you take that advice in the way which is like saying, I'm wrong, I need to do something differently, rather than it just being advice. Like, okay, actually in this circumstances, this is probably the way that someone's going to expect you to behave. It's going to make you to give a good, make a good first impression. And that's fine. So it's okay. I think both truths are there. It's okay to be authentic and have your own values and your own kind of integrity, but also it's okay to adapt to the situation and take advice from others.
Yeah, but it's also like I see a lot of the times when you come to certain industries, everyone has their blue shirts on. Every single person in the room all of a sudden has a blue shirt and black trousers. And that's just how everyone dresses in that company. or everyone behaves in a certain way, and everything is like, yes, of course we can do this. Yes, we can get this done. Yes, we can get this done. And you just blend in with everyone else, and you become like kind of a mass with everyone else. You don't stand out in any way. And I think like that's, for some people, I think that's more a superpower in actually being able to stand out for who you are. Like you say, everyone knows who the green haired guy is at Microsoft. It's pretty much it's you. Like that's because you stand out, and that's one of your superpowers is you're true to yourself and you're authentic, and well maybe green hair is that true to yourself?
Yeah, it's definitely green is
Yeah.
my color.
Yeah, but it's more of a daring to stand out. You don't have to blend in with everyone else, because then you're just one of everyone else. And like I do something called Microsoft University in August and September every year, and have done for the past 5 years. And it's 6 weeks training with completely new people coming right out of school, going to work for Microsoft partners. And I have them for 6 weeks. It's great. They do like certifications, and they have case studies and everything. And I dress up in nerdy t-shirts and everything, and like I'm telling, well, they're saying do it this way. If you get it working this way, good for you. This is how it really works in real life. And it's not you do never say yes to everything a customer says, because that will come and bite you.
Oh
You
yeah.
have to be honest and true to yourself, and that will make your life much easier moving on.
Yes, advocating definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're not self-advocating, then what you're doing is you are sort of shrinking your own views and your own, and even though those views and those opinions may come from really significant experience, knowledge, expertise, if you don't self-advocate, then you're not going to be able to provide the best value, and quite often the most value comes from being, showing who you are and actually showing
Yeah.
the kind of person that you are, and how that can bring something unique. So yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. I
Definitely.
mean,
But
if you like a blue shirt, then good for you. You're in your
Yeah, of
element.
course.
But
Of course.
there's not that's not for everyone.
Yeah. I mean,
but yeah,
I did the whole suit tie thing for so long. It's like that was what I was told. I was told, if you're going to go into business software. I mean, when I was working with lasers, I was just, not the same as that. But as soon as I went into business software, working for insurance companies and banks and stuff, it was like, this is what you have to wear a suit and tie. And I just felt so almost, it was like it was a uniform, and I became somebody else. I became like suit and tie Scott. I mean, I have different. I have Paul Scott. Paul Scott is one of my. I have suit and tie Scott. I have keynote Scott. I have consultant Scott. I have, podcast therapy Scott.
you see
And
below, Scott.
yes, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. That's not Scott. That is completely
Sorry,
different.
yeah.
Yeah, there's very little of Scott in.
Nope,
Yeah.
we've seen the tuck.
Should we get back to talking about tits? And we've talked about tits and asses now, so we pretty much
Broken every rule there is.
No, but quite often the people who need to self-promote are the people that don't have the confidence to be able to do that. So, like, that's one thing that I've always found, like things like Scottish Summit or just anything community-wise, is these are the people that you almost have to drag into the spotlight. You know that there's something there. You just can tell that they don't have the confidence, they don't have the means to do it. And it's about being able to give them that platform, or help them take that next step, even if it's like co-blogging with them or having them on a podcast. Like, obviously you're such a shrinking violet, Scott. We thought we'd have you on here to increase your profile and get your name out there. But there are people who do need just that little bit of encouragement, that little bit of help, love, and etc. So, like, when you find those people, try to tease it out of them to get them there, because the people who have the best ideas are usually the quiet ones that don't have the confidence to do it.
Geek snipe them.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that definitely plays to their strengths. And I love how both of you have been so encouraging with all the work you've done through events and community things. I love how that's been a common thread. It's very clear through everything you've done, is that encouraging of people to get involved with things. And if it's not for them, that's fine. But a lot of the time, the kind of people that show that little spark you just talked about there, Mark, you when you see it there, they're the kind of people that suddenly they just blossom. They're just, really, you can just see them coming, all of this energy that kind of pouring out of them when they suddenly they find that they have a voice and they've got something that they can share with people, and then that opens up just to different connections and different opportunities. And quite often, people get different jobs, and it's it's good for their career. So it's a really it's a beautiful thing to see that. And a lot of the time, I find that the stories, again, it's the stories that we tell ourselves. A lot of the time, the things that holds people back, and I work quite hard at trying to counter, is the stories that people tell themselves, like, oh, no one wants to hear from me. I've got nothing to tell someone that they haven't learned already, or they've seen. Oh, if I do a session on this technology, they'll have seen someone else do a much better session on that.
Yep.
And that's just such a it's so inaccurate, because everyone provides their own unique perspective, and everyone's got their own unique experience and their own stories, and that's why I always encourage people to say, like, bring that in. Don't just talk. Don't just rehash the Microsoft Learn page, or how does it make you feel? What's your opinion about it? When you tried it, what worked, what didn't work? What kind of conversations has it started? And that's the thing that makes people lean in. And oh, it's something interesting here. It's like something that's unique.
And you just need to hit one person, to like your message hits one person, they learn something, that's a win.
Yeah, that's kind of my one every single time. If you can teach one person in that room one thing, and somebody else walks away with one tiny bit of knowledge, then that session's been worthwhile, because not everyone in that room is starting from the same place as you. There will be people who know more than you. There will be people who it is their first day on the job. And what little nugget of information can you give that person that takes them and just makes them slightly more confident, or gives them that little bit that they can start with?
I mean, my first public speaking session in abroad, I had 5 people from the product team who were making the product in the audience. They knew, and they were pretty much almost the only people there, probably a couple more people, but of course they knew more than me. They knew way more than I ever could have known, because they were building it. They were in charge of it. But thankfully, I did not know who they were until after. Very glad for that. But they were there, and they still said, oh, that was so great, because they were happy I did a session, because they didn't have to do it, and they got the product out. So everyone is just go out and do a presentation or do a blog. Don't do AI blog, please. Fuck that. It's use your own words. We can tell. We can always tell.
What, you mean not everyone puts green ticks and yellow thought bubbles when they're typing stuff out? Rockets. That's not natural, no?
Fucking rockets and bullet.
Oh yeah, rockets is such a fucking random one as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I found really I was annoyed by that, because rockets were always my thing before AI, and then I was like, oh wait, AI is using rockets. I can't use rockets anymore, because I love rockets. I'm a massive rockets geek. So if you see this, my Color Cloud keynote, that's all about it.
So Copilot is trained on your content, and that's why we have rockets. It's your fault. There we have it. Now the image for the podcast has to be like Scott riding a rocket in drag or something like that. Yeah.
Oh no, I have already created the image for the podcast.
Capybara. Yeah.
No, it's not even. Oh no, it's even better
I
than
mean,
that.
there's all these things. I mean, it's like you just give a prompt. It's like all the capybara is like drag rockets. Well, yeah, there's things that we were talking about beforehand, which.
Yeah.
Which you're lucky. So, no, what I genuinely do for writing up the show notes is I take the transcription of the chat, put it into the show notes, and get a title and give it the description. All the artwork is things that I think about myself. So yeah, this is the artwork's there, Malin. I've already sent it to you. I just want to see what your reaction is to this without telling Scott.
I try. I would prefer not to see it until you publish it. To be honest.
Yeah.
See, that is a maniacal laugh. You know that it's evil. Scott isn't going to dread this podcast coming out.
Fuck yeah.
Okay,
I-
right.
I do think I am going to slightly change the background of that as well, but
No.
oh no, I'll tell you later on that one.
Awesome. Well, this 1 hour episode is a bit more. We're not at the will level of, what was it, 2 hours or something? The first.
Get that boy to shop. Well, but that was an hour and a half of podcast, and an hour with what felt like a Will just giving shout out to people.
Ah, bless him. That's
Yeah.
That's lovely. Yeah.
It's always nice talking to you, Scott. It's good. From I think from the I think the first time I met you was in D365 Saturday in Stockholm or something.
Okay, wow, that's a while back now. Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember walking around with you and Andrew Bibby. You were so hangover, both of you, and we're like, which direction? And both of you pointed the opposite directions of each other, and I'm like, yeah, no, we're going this way, so I'm never asking you ever again.
Yes, my lack of direction is legendary. So yeah, never.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think when the first time I met Scott was. I genuinely can't remember.
Mark, I honestly feel as though you've always been in my life.
Don't know if that's a good thing.
No, I was trying to rack my brain there, and I genuinely can't, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
No, I think it's part of my it's part of my psyche at the moment. You're just in there at a layer that I don't question. So thank you for that. It's I feel honored to have known you for so long, Mark.
Yeah. So I do have one question before we wrap it up. Are you now more known for ribbon workbench or green hair? What's your legacy?
I don't know. That's a good question.
In this community,
I have no idea. No idea. I mean, I think I would prefer for it to be the green hair. To be honest,
I think you've got two levels of notoriety. I think you've got Dynamics Scott or Dynamics era Scott, that everyone knows you ribbon workbench, but you've now got Power Platform era Scott, where the newer people in the community only know you by the green hair.
Yes. Yeah.
Not to pigeonhole you in any fucking way whatsoever.
So if you're old, you know Dynamic Scott, and if you're a young person, you know green hair Scott.
No, if you're old, you know lasers and sharks Scott.
Frickin' lasers. Yeah. Well, it's nice to be able to, I guess, go through different phases of your career, and I hope that there are more phases to my life where, I'll do something else that I'll be known for. So that's what makes it exciting with so many things changing. Nothing stays the same. And I always say to people when they go into IT. Well, like, if you fear change, it's like I don't know, you ever seen Wayne's World? It's a very long time ago, because a lot of listeners may not have seen Wayne's World. Anyway, there's a really funny scene where it's they've got like working on some kind of robotic hand, and Garth has kind of got his kind of crazy scientist thing on, and then the robotic hand starts moving, and he's hitting it with a hammer. Yeah, but one of his catchphrases is like, "We fear change." So, but yeah, if you're in IT and you fear change, it's not the right industry. So, change is an inevitability, and that's what makes it exciting, I think.
And you actually have to embrace it, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely good for if you like novelty and you like kind of going down the squirrel holes, because
Yep.
So, Scott, where are you going to be in the next few months? Where can people see you in person?
Well, I'm going to be next week actually at EPPC. It is next week, I think, yes, in Copenhagen, which I'm very much looking forward to. I'm talking about lots of stuff, lots of new stuff, building agents and Copilot Studio, because everything has changed now. Like just this very, very on point. Copilot Studio is very different now. It's the things that, you used to know about Copilot Studio. None of them are true anymore. So yeah, talking about that, and talk about, I also talk about like just how the Power Platform is and the roadmap for that, and where it's going and how things have shifted over the last year. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone as well. Are you going to be there?
Nope. We have this week we have a metal festival. Next week we're in Paris for System of a Down, and then Scotland for My Chemical Romance, and then it's pretty much vacation. Like Norway shuts down in July.
Yeah, it's very civilized.
All July, like July, we do not work. So yeah,
I just still don't understand it, and still don't understand how I'm going to have any money in August. That is my huge fear. Like, I don't work for a month means I don't get paid for a month. I can't compute.
Yeah. We have vacation paid that then pays you.
It's great saying that, but I mean, for like one of my biggest irrational fears is not having money. I grew up with not a lot of money, so I always have a fear that the money, when I need money, it won't be there. So that's just my irrational fear. So yeah. So
you're a guy who just bought a car.
Shut up. I got annoyed with the garage. It's been in twice to get a software update, and they've failed twice. So I thought, fuck you. And sitting on the train on the way to collect the car, I just bought a new one.
Wait, you bought a new car sitting on the train? Well, it was like Amazon or something. It was like
Cinch. Okay, no, wow. I fully researched it. It's been one I've had my eye on for a while, and this was just do you know what? I'm just going to do it moment. So
this is the last straw. Fuck it. I'm getting rid of this shit. We're buying a new one. That's done. Okay.
Well, it's interesting that the collision between the sort of the British culture, the Scottish kind of work ethic, which is strong, and then that kind of notion that actually we work hard, but actually we're just going to just not do anything for the whole summer. And no one's going to do anything. It's quite a collision. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes.
But also feeling guilty that you've got projects and the customers are like, but you're not here. Not the customer. I don't think the customers are like that, but I feel guilty because I'm going to be a month and there's not going to be any traction on those projects without me being there.
Yeah. Whilst in Norway, everyone's off anyway, so nothing is happening whether you work or not. So
it's kind of a system that's the only way it can work. It's like, so it really what it means is you just got to have clients only in Norway. Because otherwise, the rest of the world carries on going, and you can't. And that guilt, that kind of like when you're sort of thinking, I should be working, then interferes with you just being able to relax. It's like that's you've got to kind of get over that. So what we need to do is come on a podcast and then have some more therapy.
Yes.
Yeah. So EPBC next week, social media, where can people find you on social media?
Just Google green hair Scott. You'll probably find me. I don't know actually if you Google green hair Scott, if you find me. But yes, on LinkedIn I do quite a lot of stuff. So with the advocacy team, we're constantly working on new content. So yeah, definitely follow me along for new content about all the exciting new things that are coming out.
And there was an academy thing posted I seen today.
Yes, there's Agent Academy has been something that we've been doing for a while, yeah. And that's on Copilot Studio, and with the new Copilot Studio, we're kind of furiously working at updating it now. So that's that's the thing. When you build content, the more content you build, it's like you're getting into more technical debt. It's like there's this huge amount of technical debt, so that when something changes, suddenly you've got this huge loads of stuff. You've got to go re-record videos and redo screenshots and fundamentally change everything.
Oh, yes.
So, well, thank you very much for that one, Scott, and we will hopefully see you again very soon.
I hope so too, and it's been very, very enjoyable. Thank you so much for having me.
We'll bill you for the therapy later.
Yeah, please do, yeah, and please have me back so that because I've got a few other things that will come up, I'm sure.
Yes, we'll have you for another therapy session after the drag show keynote on the boat.
No, I think the therapy I'm probably going to need is when I see the photograph, the picture that Mark's created. I have a feeling that I may need some expensive therapy after that.
Yes.
I've also updated it 3 times since. Every trigger keyword you mentioned. Well, thank you very much, Scott.
Thank you
so much.
Oh, goodbye.